All right, what's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today's the 17th of May, 2025, and this video is actually titled The Left Groin. I'll get into it, and in depth, actually, quite depth is what we'll get into about the left groin in this video. I'll talk about first each of the four sides of our company a little bit, and then where clothing has to sit, and then on to the discussion, okay? So, In the Image Clothing Company, yeah, we're a clothing company, but really what we do is keyword allow the human body to work. There's a center line to the human being, the sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw, naturally stabilizing our entire body, all has to be in the center on Earth's gravity, with feet opposing the center, gripping arches inward with noise, okay? If and where. We're just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space, aka the human being on Earth. There's only one way it could ever work. The human body, there's a neutral in every joint, and from there it just has operation, okay? We have to reside in our neutrals, otherwise there's damage happening in the body. So when we place clothing onto our bodies, it has to do, as In the Image Clothing Company clothing will always do, stay centered, fit correct, where I'll discuss in a minute, and ideally be made from 100% natural materials, because the human body is 100% natural, and that's how we allow, keyword, the human body to work, okay? We talk about eating, sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, hydration, all the things physically that we talk about, and those are a lot of them, under In the Image Clothing Company, just how to do them naturally, okay? There's another fourth of us, In the Image Clothing Company Music, and I show how to size and set up guitars to not alter the body. The hands are what we use to play guitar. Our hands are essentially our shoulders, as our feet are essentially our hips. The body only can ever work all as one, because anywhere any of it goes, all of it comes, okay? It's just all together. Always would just work activated as a whole, because you can't carry around dead weight. No compensation can happen within something that can't go two different places. So music that I've made is also placed on In the Image Clothing Company Music, and it's really cool, the music that I make, but also just the information we give. So another fourth of us is In the Image Clothing Company Podcast, where we have deep dive, blunt, bold, raw, real discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. We're all the same human beings, we're all on the same earth, we just discuss it as it is. We're all sinful by nature, okay? I don't know, dude, I feel like a martial artist. But yeah, we're all imperfect, and I don't say anything perfectly or deliver the information perfect. But we're on episode 121 of In the Image Clothing Company Podcast as of today's date, so check it out, okay? Another fourth, the last one to mention here, is In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, and boy, get excited. Or not, don't expect anything, but we specialize in standard, purebred poodles. Letting dogs stay natural is our slogan for that fourth of the company. To come, as of today's date, is In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, purebred standard poodle puppy breeding program. AKC registered, proper dogs, okay? Yes, American Kennel Club. We register our dogs because one of the things that we do under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles is advocating for proper breeding, bloodlines of dogs, proper ownership of dogs, taking accountability as dog owners, debunking myths of why dogs don't listen to commands. But there's unnatural flooring that dogs are placed onto, and it's not letting their bodies work. There is dehydration happening to kibble, removing of the water, very unnatural. Unnatural materials in dog toys, and they're eating them. Accessories placed onto dogs, potentially made of the same things, but then also imbalanced weight-wise, size-wise, fit-wise of dog accessories, collars, leashes, harnesses. So we will have dog products available as well as human being clothing under In the Image Clothing Company. These pants that I'm wearing, bro, this is as real as it gets, okay? They're an 80-20 blend. They're 80% cotton and 20% something else. And it makes me choke up because that's the big reason why human beings' bodies don't work. It's just material alone. So, holy cow, okay. Seriously, something I never noticed in the past, but now it really affects me that much. There's also so much cotton in the air from these trees, cottonwoods, but clothing for everybody has to sit in the same location. The body has to be in its only working position, so if you're a man or woman or tall or short or skinny or fat or any age or any part of the earth or from any time period to ever be, you're a human being, okay? So pants need to be entirely above our hips to not restrict the pelvis whatsoever, the hips, okay? Slightly higher in the front than the rear for the waistband angle, wind noise, to keep our core muscles activated, the only way they could ever work, okay? How they always would unless otherwise restricted. The tops that we wear have seams on top of our shoulders that need to sit evenly behind the peak of our shoulders because our shoulders can only ever work behind our head. Button-ups naturally sit behind the shoulders with a band of material. That's awesome. I love them. In the Image Clothing Company button-ups are always going to be wonderful, okay? The edge seams of our tops need to be right at the very edges of our shoulders because that's just where the functionality of the shoulder capsule is. It's like I'm doing dance moves half the time when I show the body. Really, I mean, that's all dance moves are, is moving your body. So, to be a good dancer, check out what we talk about under In the Image Clothing Company. It will help you, no doubt. Undisputed to every human being on the earth, forever. I know that's bold, but it's true because we didn't design it, so we can't decide it. That's an episode of one of In the Image Clothing Company podcast's numbered episodes. God designed our bodies in the image of Jesus Christ, so they only do what they do. And we have two things we call prerequisites under In the Image Clothing Company. Conditional. There's not always ropes in our shoes. We call them shoe laces. There is, though, only one way to weave a rope across the top of the functionality and mechanics of the human foot without altering it. And that's what we call In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. Found wherever you find us, our 5-word company name as a whole. InTheImageClothingCompany.com is where everything comes to, all 4 sides of the company. But we have to also tie our shoes evenly over toward the inside, which I didn't do until I was 24 years old, so don't feel like you're in the wrong if you haven't been doing it, but it's very wrong to do for your body. There's 2 sides. There is a center and there has to be, and then your body can work, okay? Meaning then there's no restriction happening from a rotation imbalance of a rope around your feet, okay? Secondly, we remove all tags from clothing. There's a little doodly dog, meaning some type of poodle mix. It's cute. I think it's a mini golden doodle. Okay. All tags from clothing must be removed. Anywhere they're placed in clothing, first of all, it didn't even happen until just decades back from today's date. But they're causing a physical gap, just changing the body's only working position and or just not allowing musculature to activate in our body. And then compensation tries to happen, but it just can't because of what we discussed about the body just being what it is. Everything has to play its role. Everything has a role, and that's all it can do in the body, okay? So, the left groin, okay? That's the title of this. Simple, okay? And the whole point is what clothing is doing to it. I have a pair of pants here. That's why I'm looking up right now, because I'm looking at them. I'll grab them. But there's a lot going on in clothing. It's going to cause that left groin to stiffen up. Scar tissue and chronic patterning, okay? As we talk about, that's what we do here, is get out of and then stay out of these chronic patternings caused by clothing, because they are. And they're universal because clothing gets shipped across the earth in modern day. It didn't ever happen in the past. And so now most people across the whole earth are wearing pretty similar design. But then also, as we talk about, right, there's a video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company titled The Right-Handed World. We live in one. Clothing patterns themselves are right-handed, as far as there's more weight on the right side, there's more things on the right side of clothing causing an imbalance. Okay, the dreaded collar seam under In The Image Clothing Company. Look up our dreaded collar seam modification, In The Image Clothing Company. When we have a collar seam in our collar around our neck, it's almost always placed on the left side, and then that drops the right side of the body, just because of the nature of what it does. There's a video titled Keeping Collars Centered under In The Image Clothing Company, and our main site is where it is. But a lot of things in clothing will place our body's right side farther away from itself, okay? And the center line of the human being is where the most strength is going to be. Just try to hold something in the center of your body versus the same thing clear out to the sides. It's just so much harder to do the farther away from your own center you get. And then you're in external rotation rather than internal rotation, okay? So we talk about the wind noise and how it's here sometimes because we're just raw in the Image Clothing Company, as if you're just here with me and I'm just speaking these things as they are, okay? Because that's what I'm doing, but maybe you're not here with me personally right now. But the big thing is, things in the world are also just designed to be used with your right hand, because at this time period at least, 85% of our population of human beings, it's windy, are right-handed, okay? And so what happens is our whole right side is more external than our left side. People are almost always just standing on their right leg. Oh, no. Left leg, as I showed, but I just said it different than I was intending, because the left side can actually internally rotate towards its center, and you're tucked in pretty well on your left, and your right side is just over here, external. Because to stand on your right side, you need to get it internal. And now you can be on it, and the left side can be external, and your weight's on your right side, okay? Closer to your center, rotated internally, and then you can stand, okay? Because gravity just does what gravity does, and it pulls everything straight down to the center of our Earth, okay? So, this is a big thing. The left side of our body really doesn't get affected all that much. There's a podcast episode of In The Image Clothing Company podcast titled Choose the Right. And among all the things that I went over in there, I talked about how the right side of the body is just about the only side we need to address when it comes to releasing scar tissue and getting out of patterning. Because if you're tying ropes like a drawstring and you're not doing it evenly, we use the slipped lap knot, LAPP, under In The Image Clothing Company to keep our drawstrings centered, evenly horizontal. Okay, look up how drawstrings affect body mechanics under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. There's a video, and I showed it. But yeah, if you tie a rope around your waist and you twist your entire body, now your right side's external. Okay? Shoe tying, if you do it unevenly and you're right-handed, it's probably going to be toward your right side. Your right side's external. Over toward the center line of the human being on both feet is how we have to tie our shoes. Just there's two sides to the body, okay? That's the big thing. That's the foundation, man. The feet are the foundation of the body. It starts there on Earth's gravity. So then we have things like the dreaded collar seam, and that just kind of reinforces activation, just contraction of muscles on the left side. And it just places you more on your left side. And then you're able to just stand on your left side naturally. Well, unnaturally imbalanced, but meaning you would naturally, in those imbalances, put more weight on the side that's activated and more in line over your left foot, okay? So a big thing that happens is the left side doesn't get restricted or inhibited all that much, but what does happen in that left groin is it gets excessively activated. As I'm saying, having your body just be so over the left all the time, those muscles are being worked so much that they can't open up and let go. Opposing the right side, where the right side doesn't contract, right? See that imbalance? We need the right side to contract and the left side to be able to open up, and then we can get to the center. And so what happens is there's adductors, okay? Muscles that pull the legs inward on the inside of our legs are called adductors. If this is my leg, I'm just not gonna step back for the sake of being quieter for the mic. I'll just show it as if my arm is my right leg, okay? My right arm here. Adductors pull the leg in, okay? Abductors, which you don't really need to know for the sake of the information in this video, but they pull the leg out, okay? So these adductors on the inside of the left groin, okay? If this left hand is my left foot, and this left wrist is my left ankle, and this left elbow is my left knee, and then this left shoulder is my left hip, because that's how it is, and that's how simple the human body really is, truly. That's why it really is just about letting clothing sit on it proper and keeping it centered, and then it will just work because it's designed to work, like the episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast states. So this being my left hip, okay, the muscles on the inside of my left leg are pulling inward to do what I was showing, this, okay? Gripping inward, and the inside of my left leg keeps you on your left leg. On my right leg, the inner part of my right leg, the adductors, okay, up into my groin, into my pelvis, those muscles, if they contract and grip in, now I'm on my right leg, okay? And so since we're always chronically on the left, the adductors, meaning all the muscles here, okay, that come in and up into the groin from the inner part of the leg, adductors, okay, muscles that pull the leg in, they're just overworked. And we talk about how the human body really is about its skeletal system. The fat content changes and the muscle mass changes, but the body has places where muscles insert to bones, and that's where we address things, is where the muscle actually comes up and inserts into the pelvis, right where the tendon meets the bone, okay? You've got a muscle, and then a tendon, and then the bone. So the tendon attaches the muscle to the bone, okay? Bone, tendon, muscle, muscle, tendon, bone. If you can see that for like the bicep, okay? So your adductors pulling your leg in is the same thing. So where these adductors come up and meet the groin and the pelvis, because the pelvis is just one big bone, okay? Well, a big structure of bone. And where those inner adductors on the left side come and meet into the pelvis, it gets a lot of scar tissue. So you can just follow your own leg up, right, on the inside, and feel into where you can feel the bone, right, where your legs meet on the inner left groin. And we just can't have that scar tissue there because it needs to be able to open up so that the right side can close, okay? Because it's been so opposite within patterning, okay? So this side's closed, this side's open. If we can open this left side, then we can close this right side to get even, okay? I'm gonna show these pants, all right? Yeah. How zippers affect body mechanics, a video under In the Image Clothing Company's main side, and I went over it, okay? Our zipper modifications that I showed to do, and one of them is this. Also, I'll address this. This says Flex Comfort, but as far as I can tell, there's actually no flex in these. And I also have rope that has no flex that I've put in as a drawstring. So I address it because I talk about how we should never have stretch in our clothing, just like how you can never stretch the human being to benefit it. Muscles only contract. That's a video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company, and that's the case and the only truth of the human being. So yeah, there's no stretch in these pants, just so that I'm clear, because I'm the one delivering this information, and then I don't want to be like hypocritical, right? In times I'm hypocritical, I'm a human being, but I wanted to address that. So one of the things that we do in the Image Clothing Company's zipper modification is on the back of zippers of pants, it's so common for it to have this flap, okay? It protects your body from the actual metal zipper material. That's great. But what happens is, you can see where this little stitch is here left over. It's just a small little area like that. They stitch this to there. And what that does, I mean, as you can just see, right? If that were stitched versus I broke the stitch open, that much gap, let me put my head in the frame, from here to here, that much motion on the left pant leg is taken away by that little stitch that's right about here, give or take, okay? So that's all I'm going to show with these pants as far as just the visual. But yeah, there you go, right? What happens then is your left side just can't open. Like I'm saying, we need to open the left side so the right side can close to meet it at the center, okay? And yeah, that's one of the biggest things that's actually causing an imbalance in the pelvis for everybody. That's been like that for many decades at least, okay? Just that little stitch, because, you know, then you don't have this extra flapping happening. But having this loose material like this is so much better than restricting the side of your body on the left, okay? But another thing is just tying, as I was saying, an uneven drawstring. If you were to tie this over to the right, now you're just twisting your hips like this, okay? And what that's doing is just contracting those adductors on the left inner groin that I was talking about. That's all it's doing, because it's just putting your pelvis into a position. I mean, you're literally just taking one side of a rope, putting it over the other side, tucking it underneath, and then that's just twisting your whole hips because it's just a rope. We don't think about it often, right? Shoelaces and drawstrings, a couple of the biggest things that affects human beings, a couple of the biggest things that we talk about under In The Image Clothing Company for those reasons. But sometimes we just don't think about the fact that it is literally just a rope that we're placing around our bodies, okay? So there you go. Anything and all things that could affect the body, though, and place it into a right-handed patterning, it's going to that left groin, because the left side of the body really isn't inhibited all that much, because it's able to support the body. It's able to work because we're standing on our left leg. People will be standing kind of like this, you know, because drawstring puts your hips here in a right-handed knot, okay? Same with that stitch, same with the collar seam, right? And so you're just on your left leg, and the other leg, the right leg of most people, is just kind of sitting there, not really doing all that much. That's just how it is with people, okay? Just like this. So this opens, this shortens, centered, okay? There you go, okay? So the left groin, it's huge, okay? Once you start tying your shoes evenly, if it's your right side that's been tied incorrect, that's what's going to happen. Your right foot can then come in, opening up the left side, just matching evenly on Earth's gravity, okay? Center line of the human being. So there you go. Today's the 17th of May, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. And now you know, okay? Now you know. We talk about so many things. We've got hundreds and hundreds of videos, multiple hundreds as of today's date, all very purposeful and intentional. And check out poodle parades to come. Under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, we will get together with purebred poodles of any size and or poodle mixes of any size as the only breeds allowed. Hikes, walks, just hang out at parks, all the things that we do, okay? Advocating for dogs, giving information on keeping dogs what they are, and events where I get together with people, talk about things like this as well for the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. Everything will be scheduled on InTheImageClothingCompany.com, so look for information on each individual event, and there you will find it, okay? Thank you. That's great. I love this so much. I'm so content with this video. Thank you. Yeah, I already outroed it, so we're good. Goodbye. Tie your shoes even. Lace them correct. Hang out with some poodles with us. Stop in, stick around. Keep your clothing centered. In the Image Clothing Company clothing will be great, but you don't have to purchase our clothing to let your body work. You just need to know what to do, and we really do show the actual truth. And as I say, clothing is the only fix to human beings' physical problems, even internal stuff, because it travels through the whole body, any imbalance anywhere. So, thank you.